We will move on to the next session, which is our final session for the day, the School of Maths, Stats and Computer Science, which offers a lot of very exciting study opportunities. If you've been with us earlier, thanks for staying the course. If you are joining us now for the first time, welcome. To explain the technicalities, if you want to ask a question, in the middle of your screen at the bottom is a Q&A button, and you press that and you can type in your question either in English or Zulu, and one of the panelists will answer it for you. Please remember to visit our Open Day Facebook page. If you go to the UKZN page and then the College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science, you'll find it, because there are a lot of wonderful resources there on careers, videos on what you can study, application processes, funding information, fee information. So please visit that site. And otherwise, I think we can get going. So Delia, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Sally. Just get my large screen up. Right. As Dean and Head of the School of Mathematics, Statistics and Computer Science, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this session where we'll be telling you more about opportunities on offer to study in our school. I'm going to give you an overview by talking about the different degree options and entrance requirements in our school. And in particular, I'll be talking about the three main areas of study, or what we call disciplines, with other words, mathematics, statistics, and computer science. And I'll be talking about giving you key information about these areas and also the career options and employability should you study in these disciplines, mathematics, statistics, and computer science. And I then will give you at the end of the discussion about these disciplines, I will give you some advice maybe that you could take to heart when you have to make your future career choice. And lastly, I'll be handing you over to young staff and students from our school who'll be talking about their experiences and giving you their point of view on study in the disciplines of the school. Now, the first thing you need to know is that you need at least 30 matric points to be able to study in mathematics, statistics, and computer science, which I'm sure you know means that you'll be doing a BSc degree with 3 years of study. And in particular, that you will be doing 2 subjects in your final year, which we call major subjects. So you'll do a 3-year study with 2 subjects in your final year. And the different areas that you can go into are listed on the left-hand side, various types of mathematics, computer science, and then statistics and data science. And we'll be going more deeper into that as we go along. But what you need to know upfront, you need at least a minimum of 60% in mathematics in your grade 12 exam to be able to study in our school in any of these areas. And you further need to have a minimum of 50% in the listed subjects here, including life science or physical science. So any of these, you need to have at least 50% for these, at least 60% for those, and then overall your matric points must be at least 30. So all degrees that I mentioned here, majors in these subjects, are on offer in Westville as well as Pietermaritzburg campus, except astronomy, which is only on Westville campus. And I'll be talking more about these areas as we go along. Now, mathematics is the first discipline I'm going to discuss. Mathematics is one of the oldest and most fundamental sciences. I'm sure you know that. Mathematics is the absolute lifeblood of all sciences, in fact, of engineering as well. So whether you're studying physics, computer science, statistics, chemistry, you'll be doing mathematics. Mathematics is everywhere. Mathematics is, and that in fact is why so much time is spent at school level in laying the foundation of mathematics. So there's no doubt each of you have had good exposure to mathematics already, but unlikely to some of the other mathematical sciences that build on this basic building block, which is, of course, mathematics. So in mathematics, we classify quite differently to at school. At school, we talk about algebra, geometry, and trigonometry as being the main areas of mathematics. But at university, we talk about pure mathematics, applied mathematics, and astronomy. This is on offer at Westville only, as I said. So pure mathematics, that is where we aim to advance mathematical knowledge by developing new principles and relationships. In applied mathematics, on the other hand, we use these mathematical theories and techniques to formulate and solve practical or real world problems. And in astronomy, which is really a special type of applied mathematics, we join with physics, and then we aim to learn more about the universe, about the planet, the moons, the stars. So this really is the main areas of mathematics that we have at UKZN, and generally so. Now, if you look at this slide and it excites you because you love mathematics as I did as a student, I think most of us that are mathematicians at heart, we just absolutely get excited when we see a slide like this, just the beauty of it. And if you enjoy the beauty of mathematics, I understand that totally. But the question then is, who would employ me? I love mathematics, I love theory, but who's going to employ me? Well, you can go right up to PhD, become a researcher, work at a university or research center. You can also do more practical type studies of mathematics, applied mathematics, and then you go and work at financial institutions, at banks, at insurance companies, etc. Or you can go into business, you can work for the government. Really, there are so many ways in which mathematicians get employed, and there's so many different areas open. It's only up to your own choice. There are various famous South African mathematicians. In pure mathematics, no doubt, the most famous is Themba Dube, and in applied mathematics, Daya Reddy. So who is the next famous mathematician amongst you lot? Maybe one of you are going to become a top mathematician. Really, I can assure you that the team of mathematicians we've got have got the passion and the ability to make you into a really good pure mathematician, applied mathematician, or astronomer. It's really just up to you. So what other careers can you do as a mathematician if you've majored in mathematics? And I'm going to mention some that you most probably haven't heard of. You could be an algorithm engineer, where you'll be finding the gap between algorithm theory and practical applications of algorithms in software engineering. And to become an algorithm engineer, you would major not only in mathematics, but in mathematics and computer science. Or maybe you want to be an astronomer, which I did mention earlier on, and then you'll be majoring in mathematics and physics because you're aiming to use the principles of physics together with mathematics to learn more about the universe. Or you might want to be an actuarial analyst, where you apply analytical, statistical, and mathematical skills to financial problems and business problems. And then you would major in, remember I said you do a 3-year degree and you've got 2 subjects in your final year, then you would be doing mathematics and statistics. So that's really all I have to say up to now about mathematics. The next area we're looking at is statistics. So you might ask, what is statistics? Now at school, you would have heard of data handling, which is really just absolutely the very basic beginning of statistics. Statistics is the science of making sense of data, of making decisions in the face of uncertainty. And I want to stress the word uncertainty because we use probabilistic reasoning in statistics. We use probabilities and statistical models to make these decisions. So statistics really is a science. It's a science of learning from data to solve real world problems that arise in business, industry, etc., etc. And there's so many different titles that statisticians have. If you become one of these, you've majored in statistics. You can be a forensic analyst. I could read them all to you, a risk analyst. And I'm mentioning now biostatistician, because this is really big for us, particularly in our Pietermaritzburg campus. The statisticians on Pietermaritzburg campus are doing a wonderful job in having many PhD and MSc students in biostatistics, very strong in biostatistics there. So I can assure you, we've got a very strong team of statisticians in our school, and we can make you into a really good statistician and ultimately help you to become a data detective. So we hope there's some data detectives of the future listening now. Now, I want to draw your attention to a study that was done by McKinsey & Global, actually in 2016, where it was predicted that by the year 2018, and you know we're in 2020 now, the demand for people with high-end analytics, data analytics, being able to work with data at the high end, the number of people needed in the world for data analytics high-end skills would be in short supply. So much so that 60% of the jobs would not be filled. And I can tell you it is the case. This is a golden era for statisticians because industry needs statisticians who are nimble and versatile problem solvers. There's masses of data and they need statisticians to help them not fall behind, to delve into their own data so that they can see what to do next to stay ahead of their competitors. It's really important for companies, and that is why we've got such a problem in keeping our students to become maybe academics or high-level postgrad students, because they get very big job offers, even just with a three-year degree or an honors, they're in extremely high demand for industry. Now, statistics training at our university, I can assure you, is aligned with world-based practice and with industry needs. And the reason why I say that is because we work so closely with industry. And just within the last year, we've worked with the pulp and paper industry, we work closely with Mondi Paper, we work with the Sugar Milling Research Institute and so many other companies, so that we use their problems for our undergrad students, even, of course, our postgrad, but our undergrad students in their training are solving real world problems where companies are dealing with those problems right now, so that they can hit the road running when they graduate and they look for employment. And I've spoken here about world-based practice. I can assure you that the statistics sector of UKZN is an absolute leader nationally in capacity building. We take to heart this problem that there are not enough statisticians going into the workplace of the kind that is needed right now to analyze the masses and masses of data. So we work extremely hard as a group at UKZN of statisticians to build capacity. And in doing so, we've got recognition nationally as being a leader in capacity building, internationally by the international top committees asking our university to come and talk about what we're doing, because we're doing such great work on the continent to build capacity in statistics from the very basic level right through to PhD. So what careers can you do with statistics as a major? As I've said, I've mentioned these before, you can be a data analyst, an actuary, etc., but there's no doubt statistics is the most powerful tool when performing the art of data science, and it is an art, so that our students so readily get employed. And I've just mentioned a few banks here that just in the last 2 years have been employing our students, government, a few companies, whether they're data companies or just general companies, Toyotas. We've got the head of Caprice's statistics sector was our student from first year to PhD. Really, we've got so many employment opportunities, but these are the companies that have recently employed our graduates. And the next sector I want to talk about, the third sector, is computer science. And everything I said about statistics is equally true of computer science. Computer science is a hot area in this era, simply because of all the data. And of course, computer scientists are equally sought in industry. Now, computer science is a study of computers, which focuses on algorithms, computational theory, systems, and software design. We've got various undergrad degree options in computer science, including the double major. Remember, I said the 3-year degree, and you do 2 subjects in your last year. So a double major in computer science would mean that in your 3rd year, you only do computer science. So both majors are computer science, or you could do computer science and the commerce computer science, which is called ISTN, or alternatively, you could do the mathematics, what's called M stream BSc, with other words, computer science, and then your second major is either mathematics, or you could do computer science and statistics, computer science and applied maths, computer science and physics. And that's on both campuses. Or alternatively, you could do data science, which I've spoken a bit about, and then you would be majoring in statistics and computer science. Now, other careers that you could do in computer science that you might not have heard of, if you major in computer science, you could be a computer and information system manager, which basically means that you analyze a company's technology so that you're evaluating the software, hardware, etc., so that you know what needs to be purchased or developed. Alternatively, you can become a computer programmer, where you write and test code, and you create applications, including software, mobile apps, games, I'm sure that interests many, or graphic design software. And then, very popular one now, so needed in this era, data scientists, where you use scientific methods to extract insights from data, and here good skills in AI, artificial intelligence, highly sought by industry all over. It's not surprising then that the computer science graduates also are highly sought and get very big job offers straight after their first degree and after honors. So it's difficult to keep them through to PhD. Companies that have recently employed our computer science graduates include ICT service companies, such as these mentioned here, or IT departments within established companies. There are a few logos here. These have recently, our graduates have recently gone to work there, or alternatively, institutes with a strong research focus. Of course, you all know Google, but these are the people that have recently employed our computer science graduates, and I can tell you the message is always the same. From statistics and computer science graduates that get employed, the message is, please send us more. We all know there are not enough graduates to fill the needs in companies for these disciplines. So I've attempted to give you some awareness of the kind of careers that are on offer for you. But the problem is that I must probably confuse you even more. If you were confused before about what to do, you must probably are even more confused now. So I'm going to give you a little bit of advice on how to make your choice. The first thing I want you to think about, what is your general area of interest? What I mean by this, are you a lover of mathematics? And I certainly hope you are, because you've at school then got the basic grounding to go into a mathematical type area. Or you might not like mathematics at all, you love language, and then you would go into another school, certainly not the School of Mathematics, Statistics, and Computer Science. But you should know your general area of interest. Is it in the mathematics type subjects, or is it not? Once you've decided what your general area is, you need an institution, you go to thinking, you start thinking about which institution of higher education has a solid program of study in your area of interest. And I want to assure you that if your answer here was you like the mathematical sciences, then you certainly should be thinking about the School of Maths, Stats and Computer Science at UKZN. Then the next thing you do, you delay specialization. You don't in first year say, I want to be a statistician, or I want to be a computer scientist or a mathematician. You do not have the ability yet to know what you're really good at. All you know when you first year and you're entering university is the little bit you know from school. And by the way, think about it. All you really had to decide at school in mathematics is, should I do maths or maths literacy? You don't really know the mathematical areas that you'll come across at university. You've had exposure to the big basic building block, but in no way is that telling you really what all the options are. Even within mathematics, there are wonderful areas that you haven't had exposure to. So delay your specialization. Don't decide in first year what you'll do for the rest of your life. With other words, have an awareness of all the different options and careers that you could go into in this area that you enjoy. And then lastly, ensure that you've got a solid set of skills relevant to your area of interest, of your intended career, because you might change your mind. But this is important. Be flexible and follow your heart. At some stage, you might change. I knew exactly what I was going to do when I came into university, and it's very far removed from what I ended up doing, because opportunities happened for me as I went along, and I found things that I never knew about that excited me. So I hope the same will happen to you. So who should decide on your future career? So many family members and friends will tell you you're clearly smart, and they're all trying to help you, and it's done in a really good way. They've got the best possible intentions of trying to help you, but it is your life. And the rest of your life of doing that subject is a very long time. So you better make sure that you do what you really love, or else you're going to hate your job one day. So find your inner calm, sit quietly, listen to all the advice. Don't close your ears like this picture. Listen to the advice, take it to heart, but then find a quiet place and think about it, and just park it. And just all the time, try and feel where your love is and where your heart is. Because after all, it's a changing world. And when I say changing world, we know only too well how much the world has changed. This year's grade 12 group never started this year thinking they would be taught on an online media. But it happened. The whole world has changed. Imagine when I was a student, there wasn't even a computer in sight. We only had hand calculators. How much the world hasn't changed. Data science is the new hotshot direction belonging to what used to be actuarial science. This is 10 years ago. If you were smart in mathematics, you had to do actuarial science. That was the place where all the money was, where the job opportunities were, and everybody spoke about. The main aim was to become an actuary. But things have changed. I was head of statistics and actuarial science from 2004, and this is the old actuarial program. You all know Venn diagrams, so for now, ignore this part. Let's just look at this circle. Actuarial science degree was this one here, where you did a solid foundation, 2 years of mathematics. You then did 3 years of statistics. You did the whole statistics program. Only 1 year, half a year of computer science, but you did a whole lot of investment science and finance. The data science degree is actually very similar. They've got this big overlap. And what's happened is we've actually dropped out the finance and investment science. So this is out, and this is the new data science degree, which is big overlap with the old actuarial science, but where the finance and investment science now is replaced by what? Look at all the blue. Computer science. So much computer science has come in because the world has changed. This is the hotshot area. To the extent that Harvard Business Review spoke about data science being the sexiest job of the 21st century. That's where you do 2 years, a solid foundation of mathematics, and then you major in statistics and computer science. You've heard about the fourth industrial revolution. The words like big data, business intelligence, etc., is not new to you. If you spoke about this 10 years ago, you would be a philosopher, because nobody spoke about that 10 years ago. The world has changed, right? In this world, if you're good at mathematics, I suggest you get a very solid skill set in mathematics, statistics, and computer science. You must be adaptable. It's a changing world. Don't just focus in a little corner. Try and get a wide set of skills. Know your own heart. Things will change for you as you go along. And my suggestion is to think about doing a BSc in majoring in statistics and computer science, which is a data science degree. And why do I say that? This is our degree that's called the BSc Data Science. And I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want you to notice that in first year, you do equal parts of computer science, mathematics, and statistics. Then there's an optional place for an extra subject. And I would advise you, say, to think of doing physics here. Because then, as you go on, you still in second year, you do all the mathematics. And then by third year, you're doing just statistics and computer science. And the reason why this is such a great area of study, if you're strong in mathematics, is the following. Remember what I said? Be adaptable, know your heart. If you start off with this idea, you're doing equal parts of mathematics, statistics, and computer science, the three main disciplines of our school. But This doesn't box you in at all. You don't have to carry on. You might start with this because this is definitely the best skill set you can have for the fourth industrial revolution. You might at the end of first year say, you know what? I didn't enjoy computer science and statistics. I'm going to become a mathematician. Then in second year, you don't do this. In second year, you can do mathematics only. You drop.
Delia, time check.
Okay. So you can carry on and just, you can become a statistician, computer science, astrophysicist. I'm going to move. Or you can go through to postgrad and do an honors and a master's in data science. So you might think the path to success looks like that. It's most likely much more complicated. Don't limit yourself by thinking there's only one path to success. There are many options. Relax, enjoy yourself, believe in your journey. So we've got one of the strongest schools in math, stats, and computer science in the country. I want you to know that we're ready and able to help you become the best version of yourself. And we look forward to meeting you in 2021. Now, before I hand over, I want to ask you to sit back and dream for a moment what it must be like to get 100% for matric mathematics, an aggregate overall of 96.71%, 9 A's, and be the first in KZN and amongst all grade 12 learners. There was somebody that did that in 2019. He came to our university, and here he is. He studied data science in 2020. This year, he's a first-year student. And I'll now introduce you to our next speaker, Naidu. Over to you, Aaron.
Thank you, Prof. North.
Pleasure.
So, good afternoon, everyone. As you know, my name is Naidu, and as Prof. North said, I was the top matriculant in KZN in the NSC exams last year. So my result, being second in South Africa, meant that I could essentially have my pick of any course at any university across the country. So today I would like to tell you a bit about why I chose UKZN, and specifically why I chose their data science course. Having lived in Durban all my life, I knew that it would be an immense help to my studies for me to be able to live at home while attending university. At home, I have the advantage of a safe and familiar environment where I'm surrounded by my family and have a strong support system. This is an experience that I could not get if I had gone to a university in another city, where I would have been forced to stay in residence or in a flat on my own. I feel that staying at home will enable me to further my studies in an environment that is more conducive to learning. Aside from this, UKZN also has a rigorous academic program, with lecturers who are dedicated and knowledgeable in their fields. Even apart from lectures, several other programs exist to help students revise, consolidate, and understand the material learned. UKZN makes every effort to help students along in their studies. The university also helped me to meet other like-minded students, ensuring that it was a good fit for me from a social perspective. I found everyone from the dean and head of school to the lecturers and the postgraduate students approachable, helpful, and friendly, so I have no regrets about my choice. That explains why I chose UKZN, and I'm happy with my choice. So now I would like to talk about why I chose data science. In high school, I always loved maths and IT, and so I knew that I wanted to go into a career related to one or both of these fields. However, when it came time to fill out university applications, I still was not completely sure what exactly I wanted to study. So I ended up registering for UKZN's data science course. And I was attracted most to this course because of the flexibility it offers. As you have seen, during the first 2 years, I will take all the first and second year modules necessary for a major in maths, statistics, or computer science. This gives me time to better understand what I want to do with my life. I can then see the course through to the end and become a data scientist, or switch my major to any combination of maths, statistics, or computer science with no lost time. This means that I, in first year, am not locked into a specific career, and I still have plenty of time to make decisions about my future. I could become a data scientist, or I could become a mathematician, statistician, computer scientist, programmer, or even go into physics or astrophysics, along with many other exciting choices. This is what makes my choice of degree so valuable. Thank you for listening to me, and our next speaker is Ms. Yüvika Singh, who will be speaking about computer science.
Thanks, Aaron, and good afternoon to all attendees. I am Yüvika from the Computer Science Department. I'm currently pursuing a PhD degree, and I'm also an ad hoc lecturer at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Now, many of you are probably facing an overwhelming situation where you have to deal with so many decisions that you need to make. And I really hope that this open day helps you understand the different degree majors available. From my experience, there really are two key factors to consider when deciding on your major. The first is choosing a major that you're passionate about, something that excites you, that you feel you'll always enjoy. And the second is more of a practical technicality, and that is considering the employability of the degree. Research your field of interest and find out what the job market is like. But if you are truly passionate about something and you have the mindset to persevere, you really will go far in absolutely anything that you choose. So let's dive straight into understanding what computer science is. Now, computer science has never gone out of fashion, and it shows up in your daily life all the time. This virtual open day is made possible by the computer science tools. The apps on your phone, your smartphone itself, self-driving cars, social media platforms, the internet, voice recognition, and all technology that has made life easier and more automated is a product of computer science. So computer science is an all-inclusive degree. As a computer science student, you'll do some entry-level mathematics and statistics courses. You may choose to continue with these modules or subjects further, if you will, as explained previously. You can also do a lot of coding as a computer scientist. But there is this misconception that computer science just involves coding. While it does, it is not just coding. It also involves things like logical thinking and problem solving. And at its core, computer science is all about problem solving, optimizing the world to make it faster, easier, and more accurate, as well as automating things like machines and robots. And this brings me to a very exciting part of computer science, and that is artificial intelligence, or AI. Artificial intelligence really is the future. It gives machines the ability to perform people's jobs in a safer manner. It's not as scary as many sci-fi movies portray it. It's really exciting. In actual fact, during one of your final year exit modules, you'll be able to create a simple assistant, almost like Siri, and that's very exciting. Computer science is also a wonderful degree to start off with. At UKZN, there are two ways of completing a computer science degree with a BSc-IT, and that is one where you do pure computer science, which has more coding, AI, and math modules. And the other is a computer science and information systems and technology major that focuses more on database management, systems development and analysis, and it's slightly less math oriented. So after completing a computer science degree, you can still branch out to other fields. It does not just limit you to staying in computer science forever, if you find that you do want to venture elsewhere. For example, during your postgraduate degree, you may want to apply your degree to another domain, such as healthcare or engineering, and so on. I mean, right now, during this pandemic, the computer science department is collaboratively working on the COVID-19 research. They've teamed up with virologists, immunologists, pathologists, bioinformaticians to understand the spread of the virus and the behavior of the virus. So it really is very relevant. Computer science is also not the same as technical support technicians. It does not involve fixing and troubleshooting computers, but rather it involves the creation and maintenance of computer programs and apps. There's also a difference between IT, computer engineering, and computer science. IT involves things such as database management and system maintenance, and computer engineering is slightly more hardware focused. Computer science involves some aspects of both IT and computer engineering, but it's more software development based. IT in high school is also not a requirement to study computer science. The computer science course begins by teaching you programming as if you've never done IT before, as if you've never coded before. So IT may help you, but it's not an entry-level requirement. You will not be at a disadvantage if you've not done IT in high school. So let's look at the employment of a computer science degree. And it is very employable. Companies are lining up to hire computer scientists straight out of university, even without experience. This is because computer science is a versatile degree. Even as soon as computer scientists graduates, they immediately, like Professor North said, are handed out jobs. So it's very rare that computer scientists turn down those high-paying salaries to stay and finish off by doing postgraduate degrees. And the reason why computer science is so versatile is because you learn to problem solve, you learn to think logically and analytically. More so, as I said, computer science has never gone out of fashion, and it likely never will. It's constantly morphing itself to keep relevant. Now, during the fourth industrial revolution, computer science is absolutely in demand. Salary-wise, computer science graduates get paid a high starting salary, more than most starting salaries. And salaries rise exponentially. Computer scientists are amongst the highest paid throughout all professions. The more experience you get, the more degrees you get, your salary will rise. An article was actually published a few days ago, and that showed that UKZN graduates are amongst the highest paid university graduates in the area of computer science and IT related fields. So there are various places of work for a computer science graduate to go. There are many annual graduate programs, so you could work at financial institutions as well. And the F&B graduate program that opens up every year, they take throughout their program, they fill it up with about 60 to 70% of UKZN computer science graduates, because they're just so good at what they do. And you can also work at research facilities such as CSIR or Google's DeepMind. You may also want to go into something like an institution where you can become a researcher or a lecturer. And then there's software development companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon. And Amazon, as you saw Professor North, Amazon takes a lot of UKZN graduates too. And then there's the fun game development industry that you can get into, such as EA Games and so on. There's also data security companies that you can go to prevent cyber crimes from happening. And of course, tech startups is also an amazing option. So ultimately, you cannot go wrong with a degree, and you cannot go wrong with a degree in computer science. And it's as long as you see yourself enjoying something and enjoying doing computer science. So with that note, on behalf of the Computer Science Department at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, we thank you for your time and wish you well. I'll now pass over to Ms. Nombuso Zondo, a young academic from the wonderful Statistics Department.
Thank you, Yüvika. Afternoon, potential students, afternoon, colleagues. So I'll be talking about my path from a student to being where I am today. All right, so my name is Nombuso Zondo, and I'm from the discipline of statistics. All right, so to start off, I'll just let you guys know of my life plan. So from high school to when I came from university, how I visioned everything to be. So I knew I had to finish high school, get to university. When I get to university, I'd meet my soulmate. I'd then finish my undergraduate degree in my early 20s. I'd land an academic job, get married to that soulmate that I met. And then I would publish a textbook, right? Then I'd get children, get a career award, and live happily ever after. Did this plan go according? I'll let you know at the end of my presentation. So you'll have to wait and see. But in reality, when I got to varsity, I met friends, students on campus, and this was their reality plan. So they came to varsity, they met their soulmates, they finished their undergraduate degrees, well, their soulmates dumped them. Then they decided to do their postgraduate studies and chose a topic for their studies. Then in their 30s, they find themselves, they still at universities. 32, they find themselves, they still at university. Then they start to wonder what happened and where things started to go wrong. Well, from my experience and what I've encountered around on campus is that it all is based on the career choice. So the career that you choose will determine if you get employed after, if you live happily ever after, and if everything goes according to your life plan, the plan that you visioned before you came to varsity. Right. So from school, I went to school in Johannesburg. So I come, well, 600 kilometers to get to Westville campus to study my degree. So I left Johannesburg to study at UKZN. And when I was in high school, I was very good in maths. So I knew I loved maths. And I knew nothing about a degree in statistics. So the part of statistics that I knew was the part that was introduced to us in high school, which was data handling. So I only had exposure to data handling and I knew nothing else about statistics. And at that time, when I did my first degree, there was no data science program at UKZN. So I knew I loved maths and I knew that I wanted something which was very practical and very applicable, right? So I did statistics as a module in my undergraduate degree. So that is where I was exposed to statistics. It was a module in my undergraduate degree. And I fell in love with the statistics because it made the numbers come to life. So with my love for maths and statistics, I knew that I was getting into something very big. So I was at a point where I had to decide on a career. So I went for career counseling to get advice on what it is that I should do because I came to varsity. I didn't know what I wanted to specialize in. I knew I loved maths, but then I was exposed to stats and I was very confused. So I went for career counseling and the person that I spoke to told me that statisticians are in demand and they are very limited. So there's a few number of statisticians. So it would be best that you do that since we didn't have data science at UKZN at that time. So I decided to join and pursue a degree in statistics, pursue postgraduate degrees in stats. And what is it that I do as a statistician? So we collect, we analyze, and we interpret data that leads to improved decision making. And modern society is driven by data, making the role of a statistician more and more of a necessity, right? So in my undergraduate degree and with our current undergraduate students, we are equipped or we equip them or I was equipped with relevant skills for companies in industry, which include data analysis. We work on projects with our honors students and our postgrad students, projects which involve real and current data. So last year and the year before that, we were working with data from the biggest retail company in South Africa and data from a car tracking device company where students wanted to analyze this data and get meaningful information from it. And then I also work on metric results from the Western Cape department. So the software that we use SAS, which is the biggest analysis software. So if you're interested in that, you can Google it and get more information on it. We use Stata and R, which is also used a lot in industry. So statistics is prevalent in almost all fields of science, technology, or business. And in fact, as a statistician, you can be employed in the fields listed here, but you are not restricted to them. So as a statistician, you can be employed in the finance field, in the education field, in the biology field, in the health sciences field. Wherever there is data, you can be employed there, right? Because you work with the collection, the analysis, and the interpretation of data to help people make meaningful decisions from the data. So where have I been? I've worked, I've been a part of the internship program, the data science program at CSIR. I've been an intern at Standard Bank, where I was working in the home loans department, where we had information and data on people who want to apply for home loans in South Africa, applying to Standard Bank. So I was part of that home loans team. And we've worked with teachers. So we also work with high school teachers. We're working doing maths for stats with Professor North as well. And we're training teachers on the statistics component of the mathematics high school and primary school curriculum. So in conclusion, did my life plan happen? So yes, I came to varsity. Let us ignore the soulmate part. I finished my undergraduate degree and postgraduate degrees, and I'm currently doing my PhD. Definitely landed my academic dream academic job. Let's skip the marriage. We'll talk about that some other time when I meet you when you get to campus. Published articles, right? And the children, not yet. Get a career award. Well, let's just say I haven't reached my 30. So I still have a lot to do, but I'm definitely happy. And how did I get that? How did all of that happen? I knew I was good at mathematics. I loved mathematics. I chose the right career choice, and which was practical and very applicable. I knew I had to adapt. So I came with the love for maths, and there was stats, which was very practical and applicable and made the numbers come to life. So I knew I have to adapt and be very dedicated to this decision that I made. And one thing that I've learned when I was in varsity as a student was that there are no shortcuts in life. And no matter what your demographic profile is, you have to get the quality high. So good luck to all our matriculants, and yeah, hope to see you next year. Thank you. And I'll pass over now to my colleague, Simo.
Thanks, Nombuso. As Nombuso already said, my name is Simo Mthethwa. I'm a lecturer at UKZN. I'm a mathematics lecturer at UKZN. So today, I'm just going to be talking to you about, well, how to become a mathematician. Yeah. Well, let me just first tell you about my idea of what a mathematician is when I was in high school or when I was in matric like you. My thinking was a mathematician is someone who read mathematics books to come out with new kind of mathematics. So they read and brainstorm and use internet or whatever, but the goal is to come out with new mathematics. And then once they come out with that new mathematics, they then write it down. After writing it down, they make sure that everything is correct, after which they just type that in a computer. After typing that in a computer, they then go and print as much as they can of those new ideas that they came up with. And then after that, what happens is they go and sell that, whether to a school or to a library or even in the streets. They could stop you anywhere in the street and say, this is my mathematics book, and this book here is the best book ever. You want to buy this thing here, and this is how they make money. That was my idea of what a mathematician is. Question is, was I wrong or was I right? Yes, I was wrong. At the same time, I was right. You're gonna find that out in a few minutes. Yeah. So what if I was wrong? Then what really is a mathematician? A mathematician is someone who studies mathematics. So if you are studying mathematics, no matter the level, then you are a mathematician. But then there are what we call professional mathematicians, which means that these are people who are qualified, who have degrees in mathematics, or even higher degrees like masters and PhDs in mathematics. That's what you refer to as a qualified mathematician. Yeah, most people think mathematicians look like this. Well, this is Albert Einstein, and he was, in a way, a mathematician. As I said, most people think mathematicians look like that, but some mathematicians also look like this. True story. That story is very true. Now, the question now is how to think like a mathematician. Well, a mathematician is, there are qualities to being a mathematician, and mathematicians, they happen to be skeptical. So they do not believe whatever that they read. And if you don't believe whatever that you read, that might be a quality that maybe you might want to be a mathematician. Also, mathematicians tend to be very observant. They notice patterns and things like that. And logical as well. For example, you do not want to conclude things that you cannot really conclude from the given information. Just to make an example, the fact that we are in South Africa, it really means that we are in Africa. But being in Africa does not necessarily mean that you are in South Africa. So if you're in South Africa, you can then conclude that you are in, if you're in South Africa, you can conclude that you're in Africa, but if you're in Africa, you cannot conclude that you're in South Africa. You could be somewhere in Ghana or you're busy being a goat. And mathematicians, they really are precise people. So they are very careful about what they write down or what they say. They say exactly what they mean and mean exactly what they say. So in mathematics, you don't use statements like, you know what I mean, because people might not really know what you mean. And things like, you cannot say x is equals to 1 and x is equals to 2. That is not possible. X cannot be equals to 2 values at the same time. So you need to be very, very precise in what you're saying. Mathematicians are also, they have this quality that they're always prepared to be wrong. And if you are always prepared to be wrong, you know that your thinking might not be correct. That's the quality of a mathematician. Now, where one can study mathematics? Well, in any established universities in South Africa, and I hope that if you want to study mathematics, you join us at UKZN. I think our dean, Professor Delia, talked about this, whether mathematicians are employable. Yes, mathematicians are very, very, very employable. They could be academics, and to expand what an academic is, someone who works at a university, teaches mathematics, do research in mathematics, supervise students who are doing higher degrees like your masters and PhDs. And also they could be working somewhere in the corporate world, in the bank or insurance company or anything of that sort, as Prof. Delia mentioned. Just to give you a story, my friend who's working at FNB told me one interesting fact that they are, as mathematicians, they are part of the decision-making process. So for things like, is it worth building a branch in a certain town or in a certain place, or to plant an ATM there? It is all mathematics. So when you see an ATM, a new ATM being planted somewhere, you just know that it's all math. Mathematics was involved. in that decision. Yeah, and I hope that you guys come and join us. Really, I really do hope that you guys come and join us at UKZN next year. Thank you, and I hope that you guys stay safe. Peace.
Thanks very much, Simo. If you can stop sharing your screen, and if we can have the mathematics panel, please show us your videos so that we can see you. And we've got a couple of minutes for Q&A before we finish. So let me ask some questions straight away, a couple of questions that have come in. And this question is for Mandla, if you can unmute yourself. Someone wants to know, what is the benefit of carrying on to do honours in computer science rather than just stopping at a BSc degree?
Great. Hi, everyone. I hope I'm nice and audible. There's several benefits of doing an honours, and that's a very typical question that we get from our undergraduate students, because already from their final year in the undergraduate, they're already getting job offers. But here's some of the benefits that you can get by staying a little while longer. The first one is high employment opportunities. Generally, most of our graduates in honours do not struggle with getting a job. And even more exciting is that some of those honours students are now starting to come back for master's degrees. And I've got examples of students that I've supervised that are currently finishing their master's degrees, already gotten job offers at Discovery. A previous student got a job offer at Standard Bank. And so it's quite interesting to see that industry starting to appreciate the value that further degrees offer to them. You get deeper exposure to computer science subjects, so honours doesn't just scrape the surface. Honours goes deeper into the crux of what computer science is all about. You get greater access to resources. So our honours team each one of them has got a dedicated high-performance computer. There's lots of resources available to them. And most importantly, you've got greater access to your academics who specialize in various aspects of computer science. You get a one-on-one relationship. You get a supervisor to mentor you. So after having said all of that, I think it's very worthwhile to come into honours. And the current statistics testify to that. So for example, this year, we have got a flood of honours applicants. So students are starting to see the benefits of actually staying a little longer. Thanks, Sally.
Okay, thanks, Mandla. Delia, I see your hand. I'm just going to leave you for last. Leave the best for last. If I have a question for Paran. Paran, there seems to be quite a bit of confusion. If you want to do astronomy, what route to go? Should you go with your school, or should one go through the School of Chemistry and Physics? If you can just explain the best way to study. You're muted, Paran. You're still muted.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've seen those questions coming up. The astronomy major is offered in mathematics, in the mathematics department, and you can combine the astronomy major with physics. I'm not sure if physics actually does any of the astronomy. They might do something close to it, but usually the astronomy is done on this side in mathematics. So yeah, but students usually combine astronomy with physics. And of course, in order to do astronomy, we only started in second year. So in order to start with to get to astronomy, you have to do basic foundation in mathematics and physics. So if you have mathematics and physics in first year, then of course you can choose what you want to do in second year. You can choose to do astronomy.
Okay, there are a couple of questions in the Q&A which are quite technical. So if you can answer those, I would be grateful. Okay, let's just see what is here. Right. We've gone over time, so I'm just going to have one final question for Delia as Dean of Head of School. If you can wrap up, Delia, but firstly, just answer, are UKZN students headhunted?
Very much so. I saw in the questions in the poll, in the question and answer section, quite a few people are asking who headhunts, can you send me the names of the companies they're looking for bursaries? I want to be very clear. As Nombuso said, a lot of companies are very interested in our graduates, but remember I said, even myself, how I changed my mind about what I'm going to do. To take, for a student to look for a bursary, it's far better to have a NSFAS loan, say, that they have to repay if you qualify for that, or if you don't, to have maybe a bank loan so that you're not boxed into what you're going to study. If a company gives you a bursary, you in grade 12 for a particular area of study, then that's what you have to do. Even if you change your mind and change your heart shows you there's something new that you like, but that option was taken away from you. So because of that, there are not many companies that give bursaries for study to grade 12 learners. However, after your first degree, you'll find that the options open up hugely with a lot of bursary offers when you're in honors. And like Nombuso said, many banks will take you in your honors year, mid-year, in your June, July VAC. They'll take you, all the banks offer these internships during the VAC. There's so many opportunities to feel what you really want to do. And so that is really the way, and the bursary should really come after your first degree. So if possible, get a bank loan so that you have flexibility and you're not boxed in. Be very careful of a degree that, a bursary that tells you before you come to university what you're going to major in, because you might change your mind. It's far more important to keep flexibility. Then lastly, the question that was asked to Mandla, I just wanted to say, my experience is that it's very difficult to explain to students why to go to postgrad study when they can be offered huge salaries to leave after one degree. The bottom line is a company will pay you the same when you start, whether you've got one degree or two, whether you've got an honors or honors and masters. Your starting salary is often the same because they retrain you in a way a little bit for their needs. What you can offer the company when you walk in is what they're paying you for. And it's often the same whether you've got an honors or a master's, but 3-5 years down the line, the person with a higher qualification will get the promotions. So don't just look at starting salary. It's where you'll be after 5 years and 7 years. So studying further is always a good option, because in the long run, it will benefit you hugely to go higher, even if on your entry to company, the difference isn't so huge. So that's a very important point for people to know.
Okay, thanks very much, Delia. We've now run out of time, so I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Thanks for the Math, Stats and Computer Science channel. And it just remains for me